A clause is a group of words containing a noun and a verb. But there are two different kinds of clauses. An independent clause can stand alone as a sentence. For example, it was raining hard. It makes sense all by itself. A dependent clause cannot. Here's an example. Because it was raining hard, then what? The clause is dependent on another thought to complete the actual thought. Because makes this a dependent clause. For the most part right now, we will be talking about independent clauses. Clauses that are complete, that have not only a subject and a verb, but they also express a complete thought. So here's something to know. Every clause has two basic parts. They all have a subject and they all have a predicate, whether or not they're independent or dependent. The subject tells who or what the sentence is about. The predicate tells what the subject is or does, or what happens to the subject. If a sentence is missing either a subject or a predicate, it's not a sentence. It is what we call a fragment, an incomplete idea. For example, if you read in a book or somewhere, was raining hard, this is not a clause because it has no subject. What was raining hard? Generally, subjects answer the question, who or what is this sentence about? So here you can see some examples. On the green side, these are the subjects. On the red side, these are the predicates. So in each case, you can see Mr. Smith, what did he do? He took a walk. But this is the subject. The sentence is about Mr. Smith. The dentist pulled out a tooth. The dentist is the one who's doing something. The pig with the big snout slobbered on a kid. You may think it's about the kid because the poor kid got all slobbery, but no, it's really the pig that did something. The pig with the big snout, that is the subject. Almost always the subject is going to come at the beginning of the sentence. So when in doubt, look at the beginning of the sentence and ask yourself, is the subject somewhere in here? Of course, there are lots of exceptions and sometimes other rules that come into play. The simple subject. The essential noun, this is what the sentence will not make sense without this word. So who or what the sentence is about, without any modifiers. It will never be the object of the preposition. Never, ever, never. Okay? So one thing that we always want to do is when we're looking at a sentence, the first thing we want to look for are the prepositional phrases, because once we have those prepositional phrases, we know that the simple subject will never be inside of that. The complete subject then is that person, place, or thing or idea the sentence is about, but it also includes any modifiers that describe the noun or pronoun the sentence is about. So in these sentences, what I've done is I've underlined the complete subject and I have put in red the simple subject. My brother John is the complete subject, but John is the only essential information, and that is the simple subject. My brother John ran the marathon. The fox, in this case, the fox is both the simple and the complete subject. The fox jumped over the fence. But in this case, the lazy brown fox, lazy and brown, it does give interesting information, but it's not essential information. The only part that's essential is fox. The fox jumped over the fence. And then in this case, this would be what we call a prepositional phrase. Of the apples. Some of the apples fell off the tree. So some is actually what the subject, the simple subject is. Some of the apples, you can include prepositional phrases in the complete subject. So some of the apples is the complete subject. The other thing that we sometimes see are what we call compound subjects, when there are two or more subjects that share the same verb. So in these three examples, you can see John and Sue ran the marathon. In this one, John and Sue, the elite athletes, ran the marathon. The elite athletes gives us interesting information, but it's not essential, so that's not part of the simple subject. But John and Sue both ran the marathon, so they both deserve credit, so we would indicate that they are both part of that essential information. And then neither John nor Sue, this would also be both the simple and the complete subject, wanted to eat after the marathon. That's kind of sad. Let's go through these couple of examples. The worried principal of the school hurried to her office. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm looking for those prepositional phrases. I got rid of those, and now I'm looking for what is this sentence, what or who is this sentence about? And I indicate right away, I've got the worried principal of the school. Here is my whole complete subject, but my simple subject is just the principal. That's the most essential information. A friend of mine, that would be the complete subject, but friend is the simple subject. They shouted over for about 10 minutes after the home run. I'm trying to remind ourselves to stay in this habit of finding the prepositional phrases. They is the simple subject and the complete subject. And then here we've got Carmen's mother built all the cabinets in the kitchen. And mother is actually the simple subject. Carmen is just telling me whose. So it's working as an adjective and it's not essential. Hard to find subjects. Most often, as I said before, you will find the subject at the beginning of the sentence, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So here are some examples of when that does not happen. In most sentences that give you order or directions, the subject is understood rather than directly stated. The subject is understood to be you. Rake the leaves before lunch. Who am I talking to? I'm talking to you. Turn on the lights, please. Who am I talking to? You. When I say to a class, put away your phones, please, nobody can say, she wasn't talking to me because she didn't say my name. You all know I'm talking to all of you. Put away your phones, please. When we're talking about questions, if in questions the subject often follows the verb. To find the subject, reword the question to make it a statement. Did you eat breakfast before school? You did eat breakfast before school. That's a good habit to get into. When will school be out for the summer? School will be out for the summer, not for a long, long time, sorry to say. And then finally, the subject of a sentence is never here or there, never ever. To find the subject, reword the sentence. Here is the book I lost. The book I lost is here. So the book is actually my subject. There are apples in the orchard. Apples are there in the orchard. So let's practice with these examples. There's an exhibit of Ray's photographs at the bank. An exhibit, then, would be the simple subject. And all of this, an exhibit of Ray's photographs at the bank is there. So that would all be the complete subject. But the most important piece is to know that this is our simple subject. Does Francine bowl on the school team? Francine does bowl on the school team. Here's my simple subject. Always recheck your answers on a test. Who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to all of you. It's a good habit. Always recheck your answers on the test. And then here, finally, here are the tickets to the concert. The tickets to the concert are here. Here's my simple subject. Oops, missed that one.